ask, did they not hear? Did they not hear? Actually, I skipped a verse. But not all Israelites accepted the good news, for Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our message? Verse 17. Consequently, faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word of Christ. All right. A lot of things could be said at this point. Faith being this, the confident assurance and trust in Jesus as Lord, keeping in flow with the text, and relying on him as the forgiver, the Savior, and Lord. Followed, remember what this just followed. How can they believe in one they've not heard? How can they hear unless someone goes and tells? And how can someone go tell unless they're sent? Okay? No, not everyone will believe, and it's been predicted. But faith comes by hearing. Faith in Jesus, faith in his work, faith in his lordship comes by hearing the word of Christ. The word of Christ, this is an audible hearing here. That's what the text is referring to. And we are to go and speak the word of Christ, the message, the good news. And faith comes through hearing the message. It also can come from reading, obviously. It can also go, you can read the Bible. There's countless testimonies of people who they picked up the Bible, they started reading it, they believed and were saved. But we are to go and preach the message, tell the message. Let's go to Hebrews real quick, chapter 1. The word of Christ. I think this is an interesting connection here. Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews is right before James. So if you found James, back up. Right after Philemon, which is only a one-pager. In my Bible, half a page. Hebrews 1. This is one of the great passages about the deity of Christ. And remember, what our verse just said was, faith comes by hearing the word of Christ. Let me read. In the past, God spoke to our forefathers, and remember, this is the book of Hebrews. This was written to Jewish people. And what this book masterfully does is connects all of the Old Testament to Jesus. It just beautifully pictures it. In the past, God spoke to our forefathers through the prophets at many times and in various ways. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, that's Jesus, whom he appointed heir of all things, and through whom he made the universe. This is a reference to Jesus as creator. Colossians chapter 1 and John chapter 1 all speak of Jesus as the creator. Hey, let's just get that. Jesus is the creator God. All that we see. You like beautiful flowers? Jesus made them. You like the amazing aquatic life? I'm blown away when I go to the zoo, and I see some of that stuff. Better yet, thankfully I have the privilege of being in some tropical water sometimes, and I do love to snorkel. And when I do that, I am blown away and freaked out at the same time. Okay? That is a terrifying experience for me, and it's a beautiful experience for me, because I've seen things in the ocean that I don't want to get too close to, personally. Okay, and we could do the stories for the rest of the night here. I'll spare you guys. What I'm saying is, whatever you see in nature that you find just gripping, Jesus made it. That's what this verse just said. And so, how gripping must he be if he created what you find gripping? He's the source of that. The creator is always greater than what he makes. And so if he is great enough to blow us away by his creation, think of him. That's what heaven's going to be like, just blown away by the glory and presence of God. It's just going to, I can't imagine, it's going to blow us away. Shocking. John 1, Hebrews 1, Colossians 1. In these last days he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, and through whom he made the universe. The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being. Here it is, sustaining all things by his powerful word. Sustaining all things by his powerful word. Jesus is keeping the universe together. I think we talked about that last week.
Here he is glowing.
Huh?
Here he is glowing.
Exactly, the radiance of the Father's glory. Yeah, I think when he was on earth, he humbled himself, right? And he became as a man. He was a man. He was the God-man. However, now, he is a man, but he is a glorified man. And he is now blazing glory, Jesus. Not a pansy God, not a hippie God who you might think he looks like. I didn't catch that. Revelation tells us that there is no sun and no moon, and there is no artificial light in heaven, for the glory of God lights all of heaven. Bright, blazing light. Light that when Moses got in a little bit of contact with the back of that light, his face glowed. Remember that story? He came off the mountain, his face was glowing, the people were freaked out, they thought he was some kind of ghost. Moses, cover your face, you're freaking us out. And he did. He put a veil over it. Just from him being in the presence of God's back. And that's what God said. I can't show you my glory, but I'll show you my back. I'll pass by and I'll let you look at my trails, in a sense. Right? You ever see in the dark and you flash a light like that and it sort of looks like it trails? Sean, what are you laughing at? Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's what happened. God's like, all right, I'm going to pass by and I'm going to let you look at my trail. My trail that I leave behind. Like a comet has a trail or a shooting star has a trail. God said, I'll let you look at my trail. And from Moses just looking at that, he glowed. Jesus, when we see him in his glory, is going to blow us away. We have no concept of what that's going to be like, except for it's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be boggling. Brightness that lights all of existence. No artificial lights, no flicking on the light switch anymore. No sunshine, no moon reflecting the sunshine. God's glory lights everything. All right,